should show you the MySQL workbench screen. That's what you should be seeing at the moment. All right. Okay, so let's continue then. So I'm just going to uh, do a quick. Hello, can you see my screen? Breaking up. No, I shouldn't be breaking up. I noticed something now. That was why I asked that question. Yeah, can you see my screen now? Is my voice better now? Okay, yeah. I noticed a sound. That was why I said, can you see the MySQL workbench screen? Can you see the MySQL workbench screen? What I'm typing? Which one is yes sir, no sir? Okay, yeah, so let's continue. All right, so but today we want to look at um filtering. So what do I mean by filtering? Now, when you look at this data, and let's say that I said select star from employees dot employees. Now, what if you receive a mail from one of your stakeholders that you need only the employees, the male employees of the organization? So how do you go about that? So that is where filtering comes in. And one of the functions that we use for filtering is known as the where clause. The where clause. So all I need to introduce in this place is just to say that where gender is equal to M. Where gender is equal to M. Because what is needed is the male what? The male employees. That is what is needed. So you can see here that every gender that is here is what? Is male. Now you will want to notice something, that when I came here, and because this is a number and I said M, okay, what if I have something like select star from employees dot dot salary? I want to show you a difference. Now, so what if you receive a mail that salaries, we only need people that are collecting salaries salaries that are above 60,000. Salaries that are above 60,000. So how do you go about that? So you say where salary is greater, salaries that are above 60,000, where salary is greater than 60,000. Now, let me run this. Now, if you notice that here, because this is a character, which is an alphabet, I put it in a quote. But when it comes to number, I didn't put it in a what? In a quote. So that's the difference between character and numbers. Is the difference between character and numbers. So for character, when you are filtering through character, you have to put it in a quote. But when you are filtering through numbers, you have to keep it. You don't need a quote for it. You don't need to put it in a quote. So if you check every number that is here now, you will see that none of it is less than 60,000. If I should change it to 100,000, that want to know people that are collecting salaries that are above 100,000. So let me run this now. So it's only going, you can see, it's only going to show me the number of employees that are collecting above 100,000. Please put down your question as I'm going. Let's deal with dates. So this is the number. For good practice, you need to be able to comment your code. You must comment your code. So the number of employees that are above 100,000. So now, so what if you want to know the list of employees that were hired after a date? Let me quickly run this, and we look at the hire dates after the from date. Now, the from date means the hire date. So how do you filter with dates? Now, you see here, this is the hire date of this organization. And this is the hire date of these employees. So what if you receive a mail that, okay, we need the list of employees that were hired after, let's say after year 2000. So how do you go about that? So you will also introduce a where clause. So that will be where hire dates is greater, employees that are hired after year 2000 is greater than, so you still have to put it inside a code to 2001. So let me run this now. So you can see these are the employees that were hired after year 2000. You can see that there are not many. You can see that there are not many. So what if we want to find employees whose salary is between 150,000 and 300,000. So how do we go about that? Now, there is a clause in which you are going to use, and that clause is known as between clause. I mean, that function rather, between function. So we want to know employees whose salaries is between 150,000 and 300,000. So I'm going to say select star from employees dot salary dot salaries. So I'm now going to introduce a where clause. So the where clause will now be where salary between 150,000 and 300,000. So let me run it now. So you can see all the salary here, they are all between 150,000 and 200,000. You can see. I believe that we are noting down our questions. So let me go back to employees, the employee table. Select star from employees dot employees. Now, you can receive an email as well that find employees whose first name starts with A. That is, employees whose first name starts with A. Find employees whose first name starts with A. How do you go about that? So here, you are going to make use of a function known as like. You will make use of a function that is known as like. So you are going to say select, yeah. So let me copy this back. Okay, let me just say, yeah, for employees dot employees, yes. So you will now say where first name like, you will now put in brackets A and also put a percentage. So find employees whose first name starts with A. That is, we want to know employees in which their first name starts with A. We want to know employees in which their first name starts with A. So let's run it now. Now you can see the first name now. These are the employees that their first name starts with A, as you can see. So what if we want to find employees in which their last name ends with ON? We want to find employees which their last name end with ON. How do we go about that? So find employees in which their last name end with ON. So how do we go about that? So what changes here is just two things. So we are still going to stay select star from employees dot employees. So where this one will change to last name, and the percentage here, because it is ends now and not start with, so the percentage will be in front. So let me run it now, and we are going to change this to ON. So let's see the last name that starts with ON. So you can see These are the last name that starts with ON. So you see ON, ON, ON. If you scroll down, you see that these are the last name that starts with ON. So this is the reason why we use this is sometimes you want to find something in a database, but you don't know the exact name of that person, but you can actually remember some alphabet name of that person. And that's why we have something like this. That's why we have something like this in the database. That's why we have something like this in SQL. So what if we want to look for if it is in between? That is, we want something that is in between. Let's say, for example, you don't know whether it begins or it ends, but you shall know that the name has HA inside. How do you go about that? So that is going to be, let's say, first name, find employees in which their first name has AH. Find employees in which their first name has AH. How do you go about that? So that will be select star now. So this one will be AH, and you will have both the percentage in front and the percentage at the back. So let's see if we have any first name that has AH inside. Now you can see AH, 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 AH. So it doesn't matter where that AH is. So you can see Madrera AH. You can see AH, AH, AH. Dinah AH, AH. As you can see there, Takira AH. So you see it there. So that is that with the like function. So there's another function that I want us to go over today, and that is the order function. Order function. So where do we use the order function? And how do we use it? So if, for example, we want to display all salaries ordered from highest to lowest. That is all the salary. We want to see the highest earners in the organization. So from the highest to the lowest. So how do we go about it? So that will be select star from employees dot salaries order by. So we are going to make use of that order by salary. Then because we want it from the highest to the lowest, then we are going to make use of the descending order. So what DESC means is descending order. You know, descending order will be 10, 9, 8, 7, like that. So select start from employee salary, order by salary in descending order. So when you look at this salary now, when you look at it here, you can see that you have 158 as the highest salary, and it goes down, 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 and down. So what if we want to display So what if we want to display from the lowest to the highest? So this is going to change to the ascending order, ASC, and that is how it is represented, ascending order. So this is the lowest salary that is being collected in this organization. Another way in which order by is also used is we can list. So let's assume that we want to list employees by the higher dates. So let's assume we want to list from the oldest to, put down your question in the chat box. I will attend to it, from the oldest to the newest. So this is another way in which we can use the order by clause. So that will be select star from employees dot employees. So order by higher dates. So this will now be in ascending order because we want from the oldest to the newest. So this is the oldest employee of the organization. The oldest employee was employed in 1985. So lastly, that's another way in which you can use the order by clause. So lastly, find employees. I want to teach another function now that were hired between. So I want to combine the between clause now and the order by clause. So find employees that were hired between 1995 and year 2000, and also order by their last name. So employees that were hired between 1995 and 2000 and order by their last name. So how do we go about this? So that will be select star from employees dot employees. Then we are now going to say, we are going to introduce the filtering clause that I taught you. So that will be where higher dates between 1995, 01, and 2000, which is that will be 2012, 31. Then order by the higher date, by the last name, sorry. And yes, so let's put it in ascending order. So now what this is going to give us is going to give us the those that were hired between 1995 and, why is it giving error, between 1995 and year 2000, and also ordered it by the last name. It will order it by the last name. It was because I put a D there. So you can see that I ordered it by the last name, and that's why it's starting with A. So if you see all this one, 1995, 1997, you will not see anyone that is above 2000 there. And you will not see any hiring dates that is above 2000. So let me check the questions that we have. Yes, that's the screen. Yeah, follow the steps I uploaded on Telegram. Many people have followed our steps and they were able to do it. Can you combine likes, e.g., first name and last name that contains R? Yeah, ASC means ascending order. That's what ASC means, ascending order. Yes. Uh, I think what you are asking is, can we combine? Okay, if what you are asking is that if we can combine first name like this, where first name is like this, and last name like, yes, we can do that. It's possible. You just make use of the AND function. It's very much possible. Yeah, ASC is ascending order. The data you dropped last class for practice is not loading on my SQL workbench. If when you upload that data, is until you install the MySQL workbench, it will not work. So when you upload the data, then you will now run that data. That's when you can see the data. If you don't run that data, it will not work. All the steps on how to do everything were in that picture. You are not the first person that I will send it to. I've sent it to a lot of people, the classes that I've taught previously before. Okay, so why is it 1995, 01, 01, and not just 1995? Now, when you look at the date structure, you can see here that they didn't just put it as 1995. So we have to follow that date structure. It was not just put as 1995. We have to follow this structure. You can see here that it is year, month, and the day. So this 24 allows us to confirm that is the day, month, and year. So we have to follow that sequence. So we cannot just put 1995. It's not possible. We can't just put 1995. I think I've answered your question. So let me come again. ASC means ascending order. And DESC means descending order. So for ascending order will be A, B, C, D, E, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, for descending order is going to be Z, Y, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Z, Y is going to be like that. W, X, Y, Z. So X, Y, W, yes. So that's how descending order is. Or it's going to start from like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So depending on what you are using it for, it all depends on what you are using it for. So, but if you put order by, and you did not put either descending or ascending, the computer will assume descending. Let me show you what I'm talking about now. Now, if you look at here that I put ascending order, let me run it with this ascending order. So you can see that it's starting with A. But let me remove this ascending order and not put anything. Now here is actually, yeah, for my in my place of work, it actually depends on the product. In my place of work, the product that I use is the SQL, where we make use of the SQL server. So the SQL server, we assume that it is descending. However, for my SQL workbench, that's why products are different. Products are actually different. So it will assume that it is descending. That's what it's going to assume. Let me see if I have any other question. Can you go over the method of loading SQL file to my SQL workbench? Go over the pictures I sent, the images I sent. Go and watch the video on YouTube. That's why it was recorded. Place your phone like this. Watch that video on YouTube. If you watch it, you'll be able to download it and you will be able to install it on your system. Concerning the presentation, no, it's my presentation. I won't share it. It's my own presentation. I won't share it. So, and it's shared on, like I explained it on YouTube. Everything is on the YouTube. It's so clear on the YouTube. All the images, everything that you are going to see step by step is there. It's there on the YouTube if you want to go over it. Do we have any other question? Okay. Yeah, let me quickly teach this. I noticed that I didn't talk about it. The in function. The in function. So how do we make use of the in function? So look at this. Select star from employees dot departments. Now you can see here that it's showing me all the departments. So what if I just need 3 departments alone and I don't need the rest? Then I can make use of the in function. So I can just say that where department name is equal to, no, in, because I want to make use of the in function, in customer service development and maybe marketing. So let me run this now. So you can see this is how to make use of the in function. You can see that it's only showing me the 3 departments that I demanded from it, and it's not showing me the rest. So that's how to make use of the in function. So another way I can put this out is making use of the not function. So let's assume that I need other departments now. If I need other departments, the not function. So if I need other departments now, I can say that select star where department name is not. So that's the how to represent is not. Where the is not customer service. Is going to list the rest of the department for me. So you can see it has listed the rest for me. So this is how to represent the not. Let me check if I have more questions. Is MySQL and Python functioning on the same principle? They are both programming language. They are both programming language. They are both programming language. So there could be is possible, but they are both programming language. So there's a possibility of that some of those things look alike, but is not the same. It's not the same principle at all. They still have different principles. So for example, now there's English language and there's French language in it. So there will be some policies in French language that is quite different from the English language. So my SQL is also a language. That's why we call it structure query language. Don't mix it up. MySQL is a product. So just like you have your phone and you have different products, which is iPhone, you have Samsung, you have Motorola, you have Chinko and the likes. You have Android and the likes. If you have installed MySQL Workbench, load the SQL file, the SQL database, and run it. When you run it, it's going to load the database for you. I explain it. Load the SQL database, then you run it. You run it as a file. Immediately you run it, the database is going to appear like this, and it will show in as a schema. Employees, you can see the rest of the tables and the likes. Any other question? All right, so let me quickly do a quick recap of what we've done today. So majorly, I've actually introduced us to the filtering clause, which is the where clause. And I differentiated it between when you are filtering with an alphabet and also filtering with a number. So these are the two differences. And there again, this is how to filter using dates. I gave that example. Then I use the between clause. If you want to use a between clause, then if you are looking for employees, like how to start, that starts with A, that's the syntax. And that ends with ON. Then if it has in between them HH, then also the order by clause. So you can have it both in descending order and in ascending order. Now, when you look at here, I didn't go and write order by before the where clause. There is an order. So let me test what I'm saying now. So if I come and put it here, order by, and I run it, you can see that it is giving error. Can you see? It's going to give error. So the order by clause will always come after the where clause. So take note of that. I will begin from next week. I will introduce you to other functions. So you have to take note of that, um, of the order in which they are. I've gone for an interview before on SQL, and I was given that is not, you can't use ChatGPT, you can't use AI, you can't use anything. The person gave me the system. I mean, the company system to actually run the data myself, and gave me question. So they said I should rearrange it. I should rearrange the ordering of the SQL. So if you don't have the knowledge, so you need to take note of it from now, that the where clause will always come before the order by clause. The where clause, it will always come before the order by clause, because they know that people can use AI. And so the guy was like, this test, I'm going to give you, it was an online test, but he said, I'm going to give you control for my own system, and you will write the code, you will rewrite it the way it's supposed to be. So when you don't know the ordering, then you are going to have issues. So take note of that very well. Then we look at the in clause, and we also look at the not function clause. Imagine if you have a data with name of pharmacy in a state for you to analyze how pharmacies and in each LGA. How can we go about it? I'm not sure I understand your question, because now, if you want to fetch this out, you fetch out the names of the states, and also fetch out in each of the local governments. So the question looks a bit abstract, kind of. It looks a bit ab. Yes, okay. How many pharmacy and in each local government? Oh, okay. I get you now. We are going to go to that. We are going to go into that next week. So we are going to go more into the arithmetic. So we are going to make use of the count function, the sum function, and the likes next week. So don't rush us. Okay. Any other question? In this place, actually, you will make use of the count function, but I can't explain it now because it's not part of what I discussed today. Because when they ask how many pharmacy are in each local government, so with that how many, you are making use of a count function to count the number of pharmacists in the state. Any question? I already have Microsoft SQL Server Man. Is there a data set to today's lecture? Is the data set that I have said that's the same data set we are going to use for all this, throughout the whole class, the data set that I've set to the Telegram. So if you have Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, the data set that I sent, it should work on that SQL Server Management Studio. And when you run it, it's also going to appear as a schema, and that is having the rest of the tables as well. All right. So with that, we come to the end of the class. Either tonight or tomorrow, this will be on my YouTube channel, and you can watch it. And when you miss anything, you can go over it again. You can rewind, you can go back and watch and practice yourself. So, like I said, we are likely to go live on YouTube next week. So I will keep the communication. I'll keep communicating to us on the Telegram group. So thank you so much. Somebody is asking the name of my channel. That means you are not on my YouTube. You are not on the Telegram, and that means you did not watch last week. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.